Call the meeting order. T-Pop, if you'll take roll call, please.
Peter Boyer, Mayor.
Present.
Tim Ficken, Council.
Present.
Dan Zabrowski, Council.
Present.
Joy Shane, Council.
Present.
Matt Boyles, Council.
Present. If everyone rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
They have pizza, yeah, that's.
All right. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes of August 4th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I would entertain a motion to approve the payables list for August 18th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the financial statements for the period ending July 2026.
Moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Holster, you have the floor, sir.
Mayor, Council, I have submitted my report. It's a short one this evening. I don't have anything in addition if you have any questions.
I do not. I've read over the report. It's pretty cut and dry. So is any questions from council for
That's a name.
any questions from council for council? Anyway, I'm done. That's my best joke I got tonight. All right, well, moving on. Ray, I see you got us some, since the meeting's going quickly, I'm sure this is.
I know, I saw that.
As quickly as possible. Mr. Mayor, we did receive 4 bids for the crosswalk improvement project. And to give a little more color to the project, council directed us to bid the project as alternative. So the direction given to contractors was you were to bid almost each crosswalk as an individual project. So when you look at things like the mobilization and bonds, those numbers, rather than be broke across 5 crosswalks, or 4 crosswalks, 3 crosswalks and the speed bump, what they did is they lumped a mobilization and bond number into every crosswalk. So numbers came back, for concrete, they were within our expected range. We did expect asphalt to be considerably lower, and that asphalt was higher than our estimate across the board. So I think we had a couple things working against us, and that was our time frame. We did want this completed this construction season, and we did break them into individual projects. So if council wasn't interested in awarding this tonight, we could rebid this and look at potentially just a concrete alternative for the 3 intersections and the speed bump, speed table, and then we could bid it as an alternate for all 3 speed bumps for asphalt. I think you could get better prices, and then if we opened it up for next construction season, say bid it after the first of the year, or sometime in this winter window, you'd get more competitive pricing. But
So you're saying, so each alternative, the mobilization of bonds aggregated into that final total. So if we went with all of them, then we're paying that mobilization of bond throughout each one.
right.
Which if you did it as a total, that main one would probably still increase anyway.
Yeah, so your mobilization bond would be higher. So let's take the Falcon Construction because they were the low bidder across the board. On alternative A1, their mobilization and bonds was $15,000 for a $36,000 total. I mean, that's huge.
It is. 'Cause it's usually around 7 to 9, 10%.
Right. On the high end, we see sometimes 15 to 20%.
Yeah.
And that's half of, if you take mobilization and bonds out, that project becomes $21,000. So I think by breaking it into a menu where council could pick and choose, say, well, I want alternative A1, alternative B2, and alternative C1. They built in extra mobilization and bonds because
You don't know which one.
you don't know which one's going to get picked. And so part of that is their profit. And so they have to build in a certain amount of profit into each one of the projects. Whereas if we were to bid it as 3 concrete crosswalks with 3 asphalt crosswalks as an alternative, knowing that the bid would be either 3 crosswalks in concrete or 3 crosswalks in asphalt, the mobilization and bond number would come down because they would know that
Here once.
they're here once rather than council saying, well, thank you for providing these 7 alternatives, but we're just going to award alternative A1 today. Because that's a really small project for these contractors to come out here and say, well, okay, well, I'm going to mobilize all these guys and equipment to do 1 crosswalk. So if you do it as a big project, it's more attractive. If we bid it next year and give them the entire construction season, then it's a more attractive timeline. Then they can say, all right, well, I've got project A here and project C here, so I can make this a project B as kind of a filler project. And that's when you tend to get better
We
pricing.
can maybe do some road improvement too while we're at it.
Right.
And that'll help knock down the price some, hopefully. Why is asphalt expensive just because oil's expensive right now?
Oil is expensive, but not this expensive. So these asphalt numbers are astronomical, I would say.
Yeah, there's,
So the Nez Pierce one is at the park, correct? Is the raised crosswalk at High Plains?
Correct.
Okay. The Nez Pierce and McMurray is the raised crosswalk going across McMurray to the mailboxes?
Correct.
Okay. Then the other on Tonkawa is where it goes down to a 20 to get people to slow down from that.
Way crosses.
Oh, no, it's where the walkway crosses Tonkawa by the easement. Okay.
And then the alternative D is
North Tonkawa.
a trail asphalt speed bump. And I would not recommend awarding that project for any of those numbers.
Okay.
We had talked about the temporary rubber ones. You can buy a whole lot of temporary rubber ones for the numbers that you gave here.
Right, just for those that don't know, like myself, what stands up better to like wear and tear?
Concrete, 100%. Concrete's a, call it 40-year solution.
Okay,
It depends on the quality of workmanship you get, but in general, I would say it's probably a 40-year answer, whereas asphalt's in this application of 15, maybe 15 to 20-year improvement. So, and if it's done right, concrete can last significantly longer than the 40 years, but in general, expect 40 years out of concrete.
that's a decent investment.
So,
It's a decent investment.
Yes.
Okay,
Especially when they're equaled up pretty close in price.
yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's what I was gonna say is that, I mean, I lean towards the rebidding because we're looking at asphalt that's almost expensive as concrete. If we're gonna go that route, might as well just do it all concrete.
right.
I don't see the benefit of doing it in asphalt. We might as well rebid it, especially if we can get better prices too.
Mhm.
I think you only got one real competitive bid. And I think that if you were to bid this again during the normal bidding season, we bid this pretty late in the year. It is a pretty small project, but if you open it up to bidding first quarter of next year for construction in the construction season, May to October, you're going to get a lot more interest.
Yeah, I know that each one of these contractors is currently on pretty big projects.
Right,
So to come do this, they gotta make it worth their while,
right.
Yep.
just late in the year.
All right, well, what's council's opinion on that?
Notice this didn't show up in the plan book either.
Like,
Yeah,
we bid this online on Quest CDN and they normally just automatically.
yeah, and that usually goes over into the Wyoming plan book.
Right.
I haven't seen it.
Huh.
I'll go back and look again, but maybe when we do rebid it,
Yeah.
maybe we'll reach out to them because then Because some of the smaller, medium-sized companies might bid on it. These are all the big guys.
Honestly, that's what we expected. We expected to get some of the small to mid-sized concrete contractors interested in this. So when these four names came up, it was a little bit surprising.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
So should we shoot for a rebid for spring?
That'd be my recommendation.
I'm good with that.
Okay. Cool. Any thoughts, questions, concerns, comments? Okay. Is that it?
Yeah, and so before we do that, I'll just come to council with a new set of plans and I'll work with Dustin to identify any road repairs that need to happen. We can roll into one project and we'll.
Yeah, I just don't see the benefit. I mean, if we could pay an extra $3,000 to get concrete, like, I mean,
Silly not to.
yeah, right. Cool. All right. Well, thanks, Ray.
That's all I have for you.
Perfect, man.
That's right.
Chief Sheridan, you're up, man.
Council, you have my report. Nothing really to add other than I can give you a quick update. So far this month, our calls for service just to the PD, not counting the SO, we're at 36 calls for service, which is moderate. Some of them are significant. Many of them are things we could probably handle as neighbors. So we'll see how we can work with the neighborhoods to start doing that. We have one person who might fit our needs for code enforcement, administrative type stuff for us. I'll present them to you. We'll be looking for an interview here soon. Background's been done. All this has been done. So I'll let you know how that goes and we'll move forward from there.
Perfect. That's good timing because that was next on the to-do list. So
They're willing to take on a few unique tasks. They're a law enforcement officer out of Oklahoma. They want to keep those standards, but they're willing to help in the PD for admin where we need some at this point with business picks up. And they're willing to work on the code enforcement separately. So they're willing to wear two different hats. So we'll
Awesome.
do that depending on how they do in the interview.
cool. That's good news. Anything for Steve? I mean, Chief Sheridan? Apologies. No, nothing? All right. That was easy enough, right? I'm gonna move up Brad Wrestler. Mr. Wrestler, if you want to come address the council, that way you don't have to wait until the very end.
Mind, I appreciate the time and, good evening all, and thanks for giving me an opportunity. I met a couple of you before. I'm with Real Estate Leaders. My late father is Gary Wrestler. I'm sure he's created all sorts of headaches and stuff time to time over different issues. I'm here primarily about the Palomino. I'm getting a little bit of conflicting stuff. I have right past the homes that are already built and exist, and I'm aware that there's a sewer issue, and I know there's been talks of lift station and what have you to do that. And I was told by one of the engineers that, you know, the grinder pumps could be individual for each one and tie into the city sewer right there. And I have those top 4 lots listed, and is what I'm telling people, when you can, or maybe Ray can help.
I was just gonna say, we happen to have a town engineer here, so he would be the expert on this.
Yeah, so what I'm telling people, and tell me if I'm correct, is that they can go with that, the individual lift stations for each of those 4 lots. And I'm telling them that the town of Bar None is going to expect them to match that curb and gutter and extend the street past those 4 lots. I think that's pretty reasonable. I mean, no one's going to be interested in doing the whole street. And, you know, the town's not. And for those 4 lots, you know, the family certainly isn't. And we just want to, I was appointed as the realtor in the family to sell those lots. So I can tell you, if those lots were developed, I would market them at probably close to 100,000 per lot. and I'm selling all 4 of them for 80,000. But I'm telling them because the development costs, they're gonna have to extend the curb or match the curb and gutter. Something about, you know, some other requirements, but I think if they match the curb and gutter and extend the street past the 4 lots to service them, is there anything contradictory to that, to the engineering?
So right now, the water and sewer both end at that last house, 1967 Palomino Avenue. So water's in the front on Palomino. Water would have to be extended all the way past 2079, you know, so all the way to the west of your westernmost
Those
lot.
4 lots?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Because there's
sewer,
3 further down that obviously I know, I took them off the market. I got tired
right,
of phone calls on them because we can't do nothing with them.
Right.
this time.
And then the issue, so you're right on, basically water, sewer and street would all have to be extended to the end of that 4th lot. So the western side of that 4th lot.
Okay,
And then I would have to look at DEQ regulations, what they say about personal grinder pumps. I can't tell you a good answer right now, but you would still have to extend the sewer all the way down so that they'd have something to tie into. My question would just be how we would make sure. How do I want to say this? Combined pressure systems don't work very well. So if you have 4 pressure pumps on a pressurized line, the issue is that sometimes you can have like a backflow valve, but if that backflow valve sticks open and one guy's grinder pump is running and that backflow valve is kept open, he'll be shooting pressurized sewer into his neighbor's yard or house, you know, wherever it comes up. So that it would just be an engineering question of how that system would work to get the sewage from the houses into the sewer mains. So I would just have to
A
look.
double check valve? No, a double check valve instead of a single, and then maybe even a
Triple.
well, triple based on or coming into that manhole. Maybe there's a collector just before the manhole that mitigates the possibilities too. I don't know. I never dealt with it. I've done it with septic systems, but not a sewer main.
If I was advising the town on what they would want to take ownership of, I would say you would not want to have any ownership on any sort of personal pressure sewer system. So your ownership would have to be, you know, the town, and that's where you have to look at grades. And I don't have that information in front of me. As far as I know, that the existing sewer manhole that's there at the end of your undeveloped lots, it's pretty shallow. And so you're fighting grade with Palomino going down and then the sewer needing to come up to make flow.
and I never
So-
understood that. Why can't the sewer go down? I mean, that's an analogy we've all heard all our lives.
Right.
So it
Yes,
runs downhill. So I know there's a sewer down there.
there is a sewer down there. The issue is that the sewer at the end of Palomino, at Trail's End, it's right on the edge of being too high. And even if it's not too high, you'd have to, if that's the way you wanted to go to develop those 4 lots, you'd have to take the sewer all the way from down there up to those 4 lots. So that becomes,
Well, and that, I mean, if that whole street is serviced with sewer, all of a sudden you have.
right,
The town has a bunch of lots that could be, you know, sold, investors, tax revenue. I know there's 2 other private owners, but besides my family, that I know would love to have that developed as well too. And you know, there could be participation for that. But that's a big hole that's been here a long time that could be filled, and every house on that street's, you know, $500,000 plus probably.
Just the history on that, when me and your dad worked on developing those lots all the way up Palomino and where they're at now, that manhole in the corner is 20 feet deep. And that's the deepest we could go. And to get the sewer to run down Antelope and then also pick up as many lots as we could. And 20-foot deep manholes are a technical nightmare. but we did it anyway to be able to pick up as many lots as we could that way. And that's where we ran out. We maximized every 1/4 inch per foot of fall we could from the first house on Palomino or on Antelope all the way around the corner to the last house on Antelope, and then ran out of run. So that's why we ended up so shallow there.
Okay, and so, there was a possibility of going with a bigger diameter pipe or,
Ray, I was telling him, well, last year at some point, we talked about a possible rule with the DEQ. If we go with a bigger diameter sewer pipe, we might be able to go flatter. If-
DEQ has a rule that you can do an ultra low slope sewer with PVC pipe that gets it so the, getting real technical here, but 8-inch sewer, you have to have a 0.04% slope. With an ultra low slope sewer, you can get down to half of that. So your depth has to be, I mean, the slope on the sewer pipe has to be less. But you have that has to be approved on an individual basis by Wyoming DEQ, which is, it's kind of become a standard, so it's not that difficult, but it's still in rough numbers to bring sewer up to those lots, you're looking at $480,000. In roughly $321,000 at $100 a foot, plus the 8 manholes at approximately $20,000. And I'm really shooting from the hip here. So it is not a cheap endeavor to.
right, that's why
up.
I'm telling people they can put a grinder pump in there.
Yeah.
But, you know, with the town owning that many lots there too, you know, I'm thinking that the other private owners along Palomino and most, I think at least half of it, I'm not gonna get into my Onyx and stuff, but I think half of it's town lots, town owned.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of potential revenue there that, you know, for the town of bar none, and, you know, participation would be expected and, you know, from the owners of the land and see what they could do with, you know, if, I would love to see the town's participation. I mean, they're going to benefit as much as, you know, any individual would.
We're not really in the real estate business, though. We've actually tried to sell those lots off.
This is facts. This is like deja vu.
Yeah, it is.
It's about the 3rd time since I've been on council that we've had this exact same conversation about developing that into Palomino.
Yeah.
Because when we tried to sell the lots, that was one of the contingencies. Someone wanted to buy them, but they wanted us to do the street. And it was like $300,000-$400,000. Another one wanted us to do this, and then they would buy that, and it was like,
Right, I'm telling
We're-
you, they got to do the street. That's why.
Right.
They're
but like the developer develops.
$50,000 a lot instead of
Yeah,
$100,000.
we're not in the, like Peter was saying, we're not in it to develop those lots, so
Yeah.
we'd rather sell those lots that we have anyway. And if someone wants to come in and develop them and sell them, the town can't afford to put in infrastructure and develop for that area at this time.
Okay, so if my 4 lots, if they put the street and match the curb and gutter past them and run the sewer and water past them, then they can use a grinder pump?
I can't tell you yes or no on that right now.
Okay.
I mean, we'd have to know how deep the sewer was going to be and just make sure that the grinder pumps were going to work and just make sure Wyoming DEQ would buy off on that.
Or, you know, if Wyoming DEQ or, you know, the engineer or whatever, and you can check and, I mean, you know, I want to know what to tell people other than they're unsaleable. I'd like to tell them that.
Mr. Wrestler, if you want to work with Ray on this issue, we could do that. Like I said, you know, like, well, Tim said, I said, but we're not really in the development business. We're more in the management business, I guess. I don't know how to put that, but
Be on the minutes on.
No, absolutely. 100%. I get you. I just, I think you and Ray can maybe work on this a little bit and maybe come up with a game plan. I don't know if the grinder pumps are
a viable solution or not, but
Maybe when you're talking to DEQ, see if they've used them in something similar to this in any communities in Wyoming, and if there have been issues. And maybe,
Mother-in-law just did this at her Westmoreland. She just had to, exact same thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I do it with septic
Grand.
tanks too, but when you tie multiple homes into the one line, there's gotta be some, it's happened before, but what was the engineering safety factors put in there so that our town guys aren't out there battling it?
Right. So I know in the one that I've done this on, you had to have basically a clean out manhole with a clean out in each direction with a check valve in between for every house that tied on to, but then when it reached the main, it was gravity. So you had to have,
Oh, I see.
right. So there was a manhole with a check valve with a clean out in each direction with so each individual service had to have that, but it met a gravity sewer.
So let me ask you this then. If that's the case, if they still did just the grinder pumps at the house, residential, out to a gravity fed main, now we know that manhole that's existing is too shallow. But is a simple lift station before that 4-foot manhole that big a deal? Not a grinder lift station, just a simple lift station. So we,
Simple, like an E1 lift station is gonna have a grinder pump in it.
they're always gonna have a grinder pump.
Those small, yeah, they all pretty much have grinder pumps in them. And then that just becomes one more maintenance item for the town crews to deal with, because unless they're gonna have some sort of an HOA that owns the lift station, which that's where you just have to, the economics is like, how does it work out? You know, a four-person lift station. I don't know his economics, but for me, it just doesn't pencil out.
No, I mean,
Where
well,
you're,
we've talked before too, and of course, me and Jerry have looked at it. We've met out there, me, you and Jerry and other engineers trying to figure out that whole shebang. I don't think it's impossible, but it is definitely a challenge.
I'm just putting it out there as pretense that there is a lot of investment that's gonna need to be done. I just want to know what to tell people that it has to be done.
I think the key question is
I very much appreciate the time, and if I can, I'd like to thank you, nice to meet you, and there's my number, and at your convenience, I would like to get with you sometime and discuss further, just so I don't want to be telling potential buyers something that's not factual.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
guys.
man.
Thanks, Brad.
Appreciate it.
I did.
Mhm.
You're gonna make a good officer.
He's on it.
He's quick. He's quick. All right, man, hit me.
Rough.
For the fire department, gave you guys my report. Things I'll elaborate on is apparatus. We took ownership of the Timberwolf. It's in the bay over at the station. We're working with a company out of Billings to see if there's any potential buyers for it. So hopefully I will learn something next week. On the wildland side, Brush 11 should be totally back and in service tomorrow. The dozer went to Lander for the Weiser Knoll fire, which it did a 7-day assignment there. It's turned around, came home, rehabbed, and it's already heading to Texas. And Dave Potter is currently at the Aspen Acres fire doing his training for med unit leader. And then on the training side, I also took ICS 400.
Awesome.
And as of right now, build fires haven't really changed because the software with me and Sonny working on it has hit a glitch. So on his side, who has all the stuff in it. So we will get that fixed and then I can get that all updated.
Perfect. Any questions for Dan? Chief Bush, excuse me. Apologies again.
No, you're fine. I like that better.
I was trying to think of an answer.
All right. Dustin, hit me, man.
Mayor, council, you have my report. I don't really have anything to add, so if you have any questions, I do my best to answer them.
No? I don't think I have anything. Yeah, seems pretty standard fare this time around. So
The lead and copper sample collection's done. How long have you guys been on that?
Well, yeah, we were collecting it over the last month.
I thought you'd been on it for a long time.
No, that's,
So
it's not the line.
Oh, that's not the,
correct. This is different. This is so every
Said that-
3 years, this water system is required by EPA. Every 3 years, we have to collect 20 samples from residential houses. And
It's
they
not
test
the-
the water for presence of lead in the water. This is different from the lead service line
gotcha.
replacement. I mean, it's all in the same rule, but it's different. This one, we actually took water.
this one's basically like an ongoing thing.
Yeah, this is
The
every 3 years we have to do this.
lead service one is where we're potholing. That one's like basically a one-time thing.
Yeah, we have to identify the material of the pipe. This was actual water samples, testing for lead in the water.
Okay. Cool. Any,
Did have someone ask me if the lights on the walkway at High Plains, I think they're on 24/7 now.
24.
Yeah, so I'll check tonight, because they're supposed to kick off at 10. I'm wondering if they ran new wiring in that one that kept popping a fuse, if they had to kick them on. So,
They're set now on the photo cell to run from
Right.
dusk to dawn.
yep, so I'll check tonight and see if they're still on, but I had someone that lived on there ask me, because they said they're on 24, the last few days they've been on now, so,
Even during the day.
yeah. So I think it
The
may,
electrician must have left that in the,
when he was pulling wiring for that one, maybe, so,
can check that.
check.
So, I mean, on that note, I guess, what is the council's, desire on those lights? Do we want them on a timer, shut off at a certain time, or do we want them dusk to dawn? Because there's been different residents with different requests, and I don't really know
But they've always shut off at 10.
where to go.
I would say,
right?
what time is
I
Kirk?
mean, do we want them on or,
I would say just do 10.
But think of the old people that get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go walk the trail with their dogs.
exactly, yeah,
It's
that's,
sketchy, and I'm always afraid someone's behind me.
that's why we turned them to dusk to dawn.
Did you hear that I said I'm afraid someone's following me?
With the advent of this bike park, we switched it to a just dusk to dawn photo cell for the added security. And like Joyce said, there's people that like to walk early in the morning and they want that lighted.
Yeah. Oops.
And so that's, anyway, I mean, it's a minor dilemma, but it's kind of a dilemma. I guess no matter what we do, somebody's not gonna like it, so.
Yeah, we don't need to discuss it in depth right now, but I would just say that probably cut off at like 10 o'clock. So it's not shining into people's backyard, and then maybe cut back in at like 4. It'd probably be, so
We can do that.
it wakes them up, you know,
Better than a rooster.
so, but we can discuss that more, so.
Okay,
Sure. Any other questions for Dustin? No? All right, open it up for petitions and public comment. Going once, going twice. You got nothing? I haven't done anything wrong this week.
Getting on me sick.
Sold to the highest bidder. All right, well, everybody had their chance, so shoot. Anything for council business? Does council have anything they need to add? No?
Thank you, those that came out to vote today, exercised your rights.
Yeah. Everyone, thank you for exercising your right to vote in this great country. All right, well, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all's in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?